missing someone. Love with all your heart. Missing someone. Love with heart.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So this week we're going to be tackling a brand new client. So a little bit about her color history. She's got some gray naturally grown in. I would say she has like 2 to maybe 3 inches of regrowth. And then she has some like old base color that was done previously. At some point she has done highlights in the past, I believe. And yeah, so you can see she kind of has various different like levels. You can see the ends there a little bit darker, and then it gets a little bit lighter towards the top. So that kind of tells me that at some point they've kind of switched up her base color formula. And you guys can't tell on camera, but feeling her hair texture, it is quite coarse. She has a lot of it. It's very thick, and it feels really healthy at the same time too. So in her consultation, she told me she wanted something that was gonna help and like enhance her natural gray, something where she didn't feel like she wanted to go in like every traditional like 4 to 6 weeks to cover her grays or have the issue of worrying about her grays growing in. She wanted something that is going to give her a really soft grow out, but at the same time, she also just didn't want something that was going to be super platinum either. You can tell by her gray pattern from her before that she doesn't have a ton of white hair. So of course I'm going to be going in with my signature balayage foliage gray blending technique that you guys have seen in a lot of my other videos, but since this is a new video, I'm just going to do a quick review on how I do this placement. So I do detail foil around the hairline, and that one is a weave, and then I take, for her, I did a diagonal back right above that, leaving a good amount of negative space in between. And then I'm going to go straight into my center parting in the back and just do slices. And so for majority of this application, we are going to be continue doing slices in the back. And the reason being is because she wants something that is going to grow out super soft. She doesn't want to be super blonde. She doesn't want to be super platinum or super silver. We want to start her off slow and kind of get her to have something that's softer, but also just not be too light. So she wants something that is more dimensional if anything. So the slices is really important, like the spacing between them, because that's what's going to give that dimensional look. Because we are doing slices compared to doing a weave is going to give you a more impactful highlight with each slice that you do, because you're taking the whole slice of hair strand in that section opposed to doing weaves. And so when I'm trying to create something that's more dimensional, I will space these out quite a bit. I would say we're spacing them out like at least 1/2 inch and nothing closer. Right above where she parts her hair here, I might be spacing them a little bit closer together. But again, our goal is not really to get her super blonde. So the other thing I wanted to note is that in her consultation, because I saw those various different colors in her hair, it was like some parts were, I would say, like a level 2, and then some parts look like a faded like level 4 almost. And so it was kind of inconsistent. And so I did let her know that because I've never done her hair, it might not lift the way that we want it to this first session, because I honestly didn't know how light her hair would be able to get. And so that's really important too, to discuss the options of what might potentially happen to the client before it happens, so that they fully trust you and that you guys are on the same page just in case it doesn't get super light. So right now, after I've done that center parting, I'm going in and kind of doing the front part. So I did a slice around her hairline just because I felt like it would help blend, because she has all that dark permanent color on the mid-lengths and ends. I do want to try and get it looking lighter than her root, because it always looks better when hair color looks darker at the root and then gradually gets lighter on the ends. it looks more natural that way, opposed to the roots lighter than the ends. So I did a slice, and then after that I did a weave because we don't want something that's too chunky either. And then I kind of continue just doing my slicing technique all the way up to the rest of the mohawk. Another thing I want to note is the lightener that I'm using. I am using the Danger Jones powder lightener. This is 9+ levels of lift, and it does have bonder inside. It is amazing for any type of blonding, whether you're doing a level 7 or you're doing a client who is naturally a level 2. It's great for all hair types, and the consistency of it makes it super easy to lighten the hair. So when I'm using this, whenever I have really long foils like this and they have previous permanent color on their hair, or whatever it may be, something that I'm not familiar with as far as like I don't know what type of permanent color is on their hair, that's what I mean, then I will always kind of put cotton in the mohawk, because sometimes with any type of lightener, it's not just this lightener, sometimes the hair can react to any type of lightener, and because of the way that I fold my foils, I kind of lay them flat like that. I don't lock them in multiple times or like bend the hair. Sometimes it can whatever's on their hair can start having a reaction with the lightener and just kind of expand a little, and that just happens generally with any type of lightener. It's not just this one, and I feel like the cotton is there just to kind of help protect the root of these foils from like slipping or anything like that. And so I just use it as kind of like an insurance safety guard there, usually in the mohawk, especially if the hair is long, it's coarse, and it has the potential or possibility of doing something like that. So remember when I said earlier that we wanted to have or create the illusion that the hair at the root is darker and gradually gets lighter on the ends, because essentially when the roots grow in against this dark color, it just looks unnatural. Like it looks like she's grown out her color. It just doesn't look touched up. And so the natural appearance of the roots darker and gets lighter on the ends is usually kind of what looks better. So after I've done her foils to the root, I am now going in and starting to kind of like do some tip outs. And for my tip outs, I am teasing and then weaving and then feathering up, making sure that these tip outs are nice and see-through. But I feel like this is really the key to making sure that it kind of creates that beautiful blend. I feel like because her hair is so long, like if I skipped this part, I think her roots would have still looked lighter than her ends. So I find that this part is really important, especially on long hair like this, to do the tip outs to ensure that you kind of get that nice gradual blend to where that root is darker and then gradually gets lighter on the ends. Even though we're doing it dimensional, I still wanted to do that since I feel like it'll just blend better, especially because the permanent color has been so like contrasty compared to the amount of gray or her gray pattern. So I wanted to ensure and make sure that like she had a really soft blend and that it just grew out really soft against her gray naturally. So once her foils were done processing, this is what they look like, guys. So my secret for getting a really clean, even lift is when the foils are long like this, I kind of have them dip their head into a standard Salon dryer so that the ends are in the dryer, and then I don't turn the dryer up to high at all. It's really on like a low medium heat. Like if you put your hand in there, it feels like just like a warm air. It's not even super hot at all. And I always kind of like touch the foils too to make sure that the heat distribution throughout the foils from root to ends is pretty similar, because I feel like if I didn't do that, especially on long foils, you'll find that if you leave your client like at room temperature, that sometimes the root starts to warm up because of the body heat, and then the ends of the foils are kind of cooled down. And so I kind of dip their head back in the dryer to kind of give a consistent temperature for these long foils. And that really makes a huge difference into getting a really clean, even lift from root to ends. So when I mixed up her toner, or before I mixed up her toner, I definitely asked her what tone she would be okay with doing. And I always try to convince my clients to do, if they want something that is on the silver or gray side, I always try to convince them to do more of a violet-y gray. And the reason, because if we do a lighter, maybe even bluish silver, one, the bluish silver has potential of fading gray, and if we do something that's too silvery, it also has potential of fading out extremely fast, because we all know silvers don't last very long. If you do like a really platinum light silver, it may last you like 1 or 2 washes before it's yellow if you don't use purple shampoo. So I always try to convince my clients to do more of a violet-y gray, and the reason being is because violet fades the best. It will just fade back to like a blonde tone, and the reason why I want it to be more gray than silver is so that it lasts longer. I feel like the darker of a violet gray that you do will definitely help with the fade and just like toning out as much yellow as possible, and then as you're maintaining it with purple shampoo at home, it just like lasts a lot longer and just fades out a lot more even. Alrighty guys, so here is the end result. I was so happy with the way that this one came out. I wasn't really sure how light her hair was going to be or what it was going to look like at the end, because she had some pretty like really dark color in there that she had been covering her roots with, but honestly she lifted really well, and I feel like just doing those slicing and taking really thin sections helped a lot. And the other thing is, even though we did those tip outs, you can tell like it doesn't even look super blonde. It doesn't look too solid on the ends. We were still able to keep a good amount of dimension. And then I also want to note the fact that we did more of a violet-y gray. You can see it doesn't even really look super violet. It might look slightly violet when it's like wet, but I feel like this always lasts the longest. And honestly, when clients try it for the very first time, they usually stick with this tone because it just fades out really pretty and it lasts longer than doing any other lighter tone. And I feel like with my gray hair clients, they want something that is essentially low maintenance, and doing this exact color and tone gives the most longevity out of your gray blending color. Alrighty guys, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in, and as always, I will talk to you guys next week.